Man, what is up,
What
guys?
is up?
Welcome to the now.
Welcome to the now.
That is,
Are we gonna do the? It's not. It's. No, we're not gonna do that.
we're not gonna do it's
No.
now.
It's now.
But just a little quick update for
Yeah.
you guys. We haven't even talked about this in a while, but the reason we call this the now is because we believe Generation Z, Generation Alpha is the now generation. It's not a future generation
Right.
where people are called this is the now generation.
Come on.
But I'm Hazen Brusigan. This is Pastor Drew
Yes, sir.
Goins. Today we have an interview with Ryann Ferrer.
Ferrer. Is
Ferrer, is that actually saying
No, it's like Ferrer.
Ferrer. She'll
Yes.
say it. She'll say it in a little bit. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
It
but
all makes sense.
Next interview next week is going to be Christy Decker. I'm really excited for that one.
Me too.
But what's going on with Life Yth?
Man, Life Youth. So we just finished up, obviously, with our What is Love series. It was a really good series. A lot of good conversations came from that, and hopefully students walked away understanding God's intentions of relationships, dating, and marriage, which is the end game goal. But coming up, April, obviously we have One Night, One Word, and it's going to be on, the word is forgiveness. We should do like a forgiveness. Yes, so it'll be on forgiveness, and so it's really, really good. I've got obviously my testimony in forgiveness, and so we'll speak to that a little bit. But we're gonna hit a series called Jesus Freak.
Jesus
Freak.
Are you a Jesus
Oh
freak?
my gosh, I'm so excited about this series. It's gonna be sick. Anyway, so yeah,
That's
and
so
so
awesome.
yeah, we're gonna be hitting that. But we have a clip here from Brady.
Brady Hemminghouse.
Brady Hemminghouse. Come
show
on,
that.
Let's roll it.
Jokes. Would you say it was a gradual experience to Christ, or was there like a moment, like, okay, like today I'm gonna live for Christ?
It was about a 3-day period. So I went to Sunday church.
Yeah.
And I went there, and then we talked about, and then that's where I heard God is for you, not against you.
Yeah.
And so I really thought of that over the next 3 days. And then Hayes told me, what's stopping you from giving your life up to Christ? And I really thought about that for a while. And I just realized there's nothing stopping me from giving up my life to Christ.
Yeah.
And then so I was like, you know what? Do it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Man, what is up, guys? That clip was awesome from Brady Hemminghouse.
So good. So
I
good.
really
It's
loved
great,
his
great
testimony.
conversation with Brady, for
It
sure.
was an awesome testimony. Go check that out if you guys haven't already. But we are here with Ryann. Say your last name, Ferrer. I'm having trouble.
Ferrer Jacques.
Ferrer.
Ferrer.
Well, yeah,
Ferrer.
you could say it like you could roll the R.
You could just be white and be like, Ferrer.
You could say however you want to.
But yeah,
Ryan
what's
is
going on?
here.
What's going on in your life right now? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
About my guys.
Got personal right away.
Wait, okay, like what's going on in my life? I mean, school. I'm a junior.
Family.
Family. My grandma's back from California right now. She's visiting, but she's leaving again in April because she like goes back and forth from California
Yeah.
to Illinois. Oh my gosh, bro, her food, like every single.
I'm waiting. I've seen the pictures.
It's so good. You like Mexican food?
Yeah.
Then
I mean, if it's like tequilas, then yeah.
Oh,
no, I
that's
mean
not Mexican
authentic.
food.
So like authentic.
Authentic.
At least he
yes.
didn't say, if it's like Taco Bell,
like,
yes.
like grandma from Mexico, authentic.
Like, slide me the recipes authentic, or
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
we'll link him in the description.
We probably won't.
We won't.
No, we won't.
Oh, man. I'm waiting for my food. I'm just saying, like,
You don't make time for me anymore.
wow.
Don't make time for me anymore.
Wow. Oh, man.
Man, what do you? Man, we're shooting shots here.
All
so,
right.
So what do you have? You have obviously you have two parents.
Yes, I do.
That's usually how it works,
That's
hey?
usually how it works. But tell us about your family, brothers, sisters. What you got?
I mean, my parents, they're great. My mom. Let me tell you their names first. My mom's name is Erica. My dad's name is Raul. They're pretty great. And then I have 2 older brothers. So I'm the only girl in the family. Like,
The baby.
yeah, but
The
I have my
baby.
dog, which like my parents like more
Oh,
Then you.
than all of us.
Jesus.
They're gonna be watching this podcast
I like
and
to
they're gonna say
consider
no.
myself the best child right now because one of them doesn't talk at all and the other one doesn't shut up, and I'm like kind of like
In between.
I'm like a great kid.
You're
Not
in
to
between.
be cocky. I'm just kidding. All jokes.
Oh, man. So, obviously, you've been coming to Life Youth for a little over a year now. You kind of started more regularly when Jackie and I came on here at Life Community Church. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I started really well. Like I started coming like December 20, like when you guys
When we
like,
came
a
on.
little bit before you guys, but like regularly like a little later on, like every single Wednesday.
Okay.
Because before I didn't really like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, didn't do the church thing.
Yeah.
Or you did, but just not as regularly.
I hated being around like a bunch of people. I hated, like all that like setting stuff, and I wasn't really involved in church. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Explain a little about that.
Yeah.
Well, how'd you get where you are now? The Ryann 2 years ago?
Gosh.
Where?
She's like, how much time do you have?
I mean, we could spend the whole entire episode talking about this one question if you want to.
Oh,
seriously.
Literally, it was like all I can say was God. Like before, like I would have full on like anxiety, like panic attacks. Like I hated being around. I still like I struggle like with social stuff, but like youth, my parents would try to get me to go to like youth group at our other church or like get involved with other kids my age, and I would just fight it every single time. I'd be like, no, I'm not doing it. I would be breaking down in tears. Like I hated doing anything that involved people. Like I just hated it. And I think because my walk with the Lord at the time, like I basically didn't have any type of relationship with the Lord. And I'm open about this now because I know that I've changed and I know that I actually have a relationship with God now. So like before, I was just kind of like playing the Christian part where, I go to church because my parents made me, and I would read my Bible because my parents told me to. And I would, I would say I'm Christian, but like I had no relationship with God really. Like I didn't. And I feel like that's a really big part of why I was the way I was, because I did not want to. Like when I first started coming to like this youth group, you could ask, I was in the corner. I hated every second of it. Like it was because just people and just feeling, even though we're at church, just feeling like judgment and just like people that you're not used to being around, like people you don't know, which I think there's like with everybody, like they can kind of say, but like for me, it was just like anxiety filled every single time. Like all I wanted to do was just be at home in my room, not have to do with like anybody,
Yeah.
I think it's so cool because it really just screams to like God's redemptive grace and like God's like the transformation that you can experience through a relationship with Jesus. Like that to me is like what's really awesome, because I remember, obviously it's kind of, I say that because I think of like who you are now, and like the interaction I see you with students on Wednesday nights doesn't at all describe like the person you're talking about. And that's so, to me, it's just so cool to see how like Jesus has transformed you. So like speaking to that, like what would you say like your turning point was? Like what was your salvation, if you want to call it that, your salvation experience, that transformation experience from the old Ryann to who God has created you to be?
I think just like, honestly, just coming around more and like surrounding myself with people who love God, because before I could not name like any Christian friends that I had. Like I said I was Christian, but like I was hanging around people who were not walking with God, who didn't call themselves Christians because they weren't, and that's all I was around. I like kind of like refused to like get into like that little circle. So I think like when I started coming, I like really had to push myself forward to, like be around these people that I wasn't used to being around, because like, wow, like, oh, these people are like actually serious about their relationship with God. And, just being around people, like it's so important who you surround yourself with. Like it's so important because you start to do the things they do, and it's just stuff you like let yourself hear, let yourself see.
Right.
So like just me being around like these people that love God, it really helped me. And also I just feel like God like allowed a lot of things in my life to just be like, brought me closer to him. Like he's literally like, okay, like I want you to come to me. You're obviously going through all these things. Like just come to me. Right. And like I feel like I was finally at a point. I remember that something had happened and I was just in my room and I was just crying on my bed. And I was like, I don't know what to do. And then I was like, you know what? I think right now I just need to take my Bible out and start writing. And so that's what I did. And that was like, I think June of last year. And I was like, I'd never done something like that before. Sure. Like I was never like, oh, let me just take out my Bible and write. Because that's not how I was. But I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start writing. And I genuinely, like, it really helps. Like it makes you feel better. I don't know. Like it just, it's God. Like it makes me feel better. And now, it just becomes something, a part of your
So would you say it was more of like kind of a gradual thing?
Oh, yeah. That's like, it's not like something that happens like that. Like a relationship with God is like, it takes time. And I feel like people kind of expect, like when somebody is saved or when, they have an experience with God, people expect them to have an instant transformation. And that's just not reality because we're all still human. We're all still going to make mistakes. I'm not saying that's an excuse, but somebody's just not going to change like that. You need to give them time. You need to be there for them, and you need to show them God, more through whatever they're going through.
It's
Yeah,
good. It's
definitely.
good. Before we're going to pause for just a second. I'm going to have you move your mic a little closer.
Okay.
You want to
Oh, her mic.
go like that? Yeah.
Oh, my mic?
Your
right
mic.
here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
My
that
bad.
way we can for sure hear you.
Like, is it angled towards her too?
Yeah, it should be good now.
Okay.
Say something.
Hello?
There we go.
Okay.
go.
Perfect.
There we go.
Perfect. So go ahead. Why don't you go and lead into the next question
Yeah.
if you want?
So we know you're kind of involved in fine arts, and how is fine arts being on the worship team in human video? How has that affected your relationship with God? Or maybe how has that impacted you? How has that impacted others?
It's definitely pushed me out of my comfort zone. like I just said, I hated being like just in front of people. So the fact that now I'm like on the worship team for fine arts and doing this stuff is like mind-boggling to me because I never would have thought that I would be doing this stuff. But I think some people who really pushed me, Drew and Jackie, they were constantly like, "Come on." And when they always told me, like, once you say yes to Jackie, there's no going back. They cannot go back. So I think one of the things was like, well, I used to, like, at my old church, it was more of like just a family church. At my uncle's church, I would go up there and I would do worship with my mom. But I was like, 11. I was like, oh, I want to be up on stage.
Right.
I want to sing with my mom. It wasn't really something for God. It was something for me because I was young and I didn't, I did that for a little bit. But then, I came here and then Jackie, I think it was like God telling me like, yeah, this is something you should do. But at the time I didn't know because Jackie had told me, I think I was at a practice once staying after fine arts worship when I wasn't a part of the team yet. And she was like, hey, if we need a sub, would you be willing to be a sub? I was like thinking, they're not going to need a sub. They have everybody they have everybody they need. There's no point. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll be a sub. So everything's good. And maybe like next, like a couple days later, a week later, Day's like, what?
Uh-oh.
She goes, so we need you. You're going to be in fine arts worship. I was like, what? She was like, yeah, we actually need you. I was like, I was just a sub. I didn't think you'd actually need me. I thought you had everybody and nothing was going to change. She's like, no, yeah, the other girl can't like make it as much. So we need you to step in. It's like,
Yep.
oh, okay.
There you go.
That's funny.
It was, yeah. I was actually shaking. I was like, oh gosh, why did I say
So
yes?
this will be your first. Uh-oh. I might just cut out. Oh man, what is happening here? Oh, it wasn't plugged in all the way. Anyway, so this will be your first fine arts experience. Do you have any like anticipation or like what is your expectations for fine arts? I mean, did you go with us last year to just observe? I'm trying to remember who all was there.
I knew about it, but like I wasn't as involved in the church.
Right. Okay. So
But,
this will be
like,
your
I knew.
first experience.
Yeah.
So what are your expectations? Like, are you nervous about anything? What if there's like maybe a student who's watching? They're like, I would love to do fine arts, but I don't know. Put me in as a sub, but nothing else. Like, what would you say to them?
I mean, I just say like pray about it because that's really all you can do. You can't like fully be sure and like make a decision if you don't like talk to God about it first because that's His plan for you.
Yeah.
You gotta talk to God. You gotta have that like relationship with Him to be sure like, okay, like is this what I should be doing or is it something I should step away from? Because not everybody is called to worship. Like
Sure.
be a worship leader. Obviously, not everybody's called to lead, and that's fine. That's why you just gotta like really pray about it and like be serious about it. Because before, like me, I was like, okay, I had done this when I was younger, but I didn't think this would be carrying on to when I got older. And I think one of the things that helped me was like my mom. She led worship when we went to that church. She can sing, she can play the guitar. She can do it, like, all that. And I think, like, she's kind of, like, an inspiration for me that even though she doesn't do that stuff as much now, it's like, okay, like, my mom can do it, and I did it before. Like, sure. I can pray about it. I can do it again. And I can kind of, like, get comfortable and, like, kind of let that anxiety flow away, you know.
Yeah.
There you go.
And kind of going off that, I think a lot of people might be praying like, God, will you give you opportunities to step in my calling and blah, blah.
Right.
And fine arts is thrown at you. But not saying you don't go need to pray about it, but sometimes you're praying about it, and it's just like in life in general. Like you pray to God, like to send you a person. Maybe you need to share the gospel with, you need to talk about Jesus with. But you pray about it, and then a person gets sent to you, and you drift the conversation away. Or maybe you pray about your calling, pray about what I need to do for fine arts. The next day, Jackie comes up to you, hey, I want you to do this for fine arts. But like, and it's just practical stuff like that, I think. But I kind of want to go back to what you said earlier about your conversation with Day. And I know you and Day are really close, have become really close friends. How has Day affected your walk with God?
She's honestly like, it's so crazy to me how like close we got. I consider Day like a little sister. Like, and I think just how close like we've gotten, it's brought me closer to the whole family. I love the Goins, guys. Guys, the Goins are, oh my gosh.
Oh, we're going to the Goins.
Goins, bro. Like, she's just been there for me. Like, we've had our ups and downs. Like when I say I consider my little sister, like we argue like that. Like
That's true.
yeah. But she's just, it's nice to just have someone there that like has like advice for you like about God, and who even like though she's like in 8th grade, Day is like so mature, and like just the like things she says and like the stuff I'm like, wow, like you sure, dang, like you're like not older, bro. Like I'm like almost 3 years older than you, bro. But like she's just like impacted my life a lot, like just, and my relationship with God, you know, just encouraging me, and just like times we like prayed together, like literally just like praying out to God, like during like worship nights, just like us holding each other and like just crying in each other's arms. Like those moments like affect your relationship with someone. Like when you have those types of moments with someone where you're just like crying out to God and just like praying, like it bonds you. Like it makes you closer with that person.
For sure. So you talked about like your relationship with God. Like what would you say right now in your current season? It sounds to me like you've come out of a pretty rough season with just, you know, some struggles and anxiety and those kind of things. So like your current season right now, what do you feel like God is taking you to? You spoke to fine arts, but what else, like personally with your relationship with God, where are you at?
If I'm being honest, I'm trying to get into like reading my Bible more, and, you know, doing my notebook. And my mom got me this book. I think it's called something like The Names of God and the Names of Jesus. I have the book, but it's basically takes like every single day just telling like different names God has. I went through like Emmanuel, stuff like that. But like I feel like at like some points recently, I've just like not been giving stuff to God, and I've been holding on to things, and like that causes like stress, depression, anxiety, just all these things. But I just think like, why am I holding on to bad things when it's like that easy? You can literally just give it to God.
Right.
Like, I don't know why I'm holding on to these things. And I think that's something I really need to learn, because it's something I've been struggling with. It's just like you can give stuff to God. Like he wants to take that burden off you. He wants to take the pain away. So why aren't I giving it to God?
That's good.
And I think like that's one of the things, just like worries and stress has like really been overtaking me. But I'm not to the point where I'm not going to try anymore. Like I want to keep my relationship with God, because I just don't want to lose like just everything.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's
so good.
That's good.
That's so good. And last question before we're gonna have you pray. But what do you think Christian and non-Christian girls your age struggle with the most?
Christian girls, I feel like, and personally me too, I feel like they struggle with like not being able to see themselves through God's eyes. Oof. Like they focus more on the men of this world, and what does he think about me? Even like, and this goes for Christian and non-Christian girls, like they surround themselves and they only focus on the guys outside their lives, like girls at youth, like that boy at youth is cute, but I wonder what he thinks about me. Or even girls at school, oh, all these boys here, I wonder what they think about me. Oh, so-and-so said this about my body. So-and-so said this about what I look like. So, they focus like God made you, like God literally took time and made you specifically, and he didn't make you like anybody else. So why are you caring about what these people are thinking about, like what God did? Because we need to see ourselves, like it says, like we are fearfully and wonderfully made. So I just think like, especially Christian girls, since they have like that knowledge of God, like why can't like we try to see ourselves through God more instead of people like listening to people's opinions?
That's good.
From
Exactly.
me,
That's really
That's
good.
so good.
That's so good. And it speaks to, with the girls podcast that happened a couple weeks back, they spoke to that as well. And so that's so spot on and a really good word. Ryan, would you mind just taking time to pray us out? And if there's any specifics you want to pray for, you can pray for those, but just pray us out and thank you.
Yeah, okay. I don't really pray. Like, okay. Well, I
You
do
are
know.
now.
I do know. Okay, that sounded bad. I do pray. Just not like, okay. God, I thank you for just letting me come on here, and I thank you for Drew and Hayes, for just letting me share some of my life here and some of my testimony. I just pray for anybody who's listening to this or anybody that is watching, that they know that you are there and that you love them, and if they feel like alone or just that nobody is there for them, that you are there for them. And I just pray that more and more people come to you. And I just pray that you use me in a way like that is only a part of your plan. And I just pray that I can just grow more in you and just grow more in this church. And yeah, thank you.
Amen.
Bye.
Amen.
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 Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan.
For coming on.
Yep, appreciate it.
Yep.